Hey sexies, welcome back to It's me, CJ, doing a belated April wrap-up, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you, been a little depresso, so haven't felt like talking to the cam, right? But it will haunt me all year if I skip a month during my 12-month wrap-ups. That would be insanity. So we're gonna do it anyway. Last month I kind of hinted that filming wrap-ups was kind of boring for me. Watching them is kind of boring for me. So I did like a pit and a peak thing last month. I think we're gonna do something similar, right? We'll like high level go over all the books I read, but only talk in depth about a few. You know, maybe this will be like a more casual, chatty, hey, how's it going? Catch up with me. I think I'm gonna upload this on Sunday, so maybe I'll see you Sunday morning. We're gonna be drinking coffee together. It'll be cute. I just feel like I don't have a personality right now. You know when you're depressed and you don't have a personality? That's definitely how I feel. Oh, and my battery's gonna die. That's cool. Well, I'm gonna see you. This took all my energy. I'll see you in maybe 15 minutes. Hopefully I can still speak by then. Cool. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So I read a lot of books in April. More time has passed than I thought. So let's see. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think like 7 or 8. If I can count. So I read Song of Solomon. By Toni Morrison in April. The book hotties were supposed to read it for our April book club, and I was the only one who did. Cough, 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 rude. But I'm so glad I read it because that book was phenomenal. It's a really challenging, complex read that was really plot driven and kind of a coming of age story, but also rooted in a lot of mythology about names and place and like what the Black lineage in America growing up looked like for this cast of caricatures. Super like lush, rich language that's very typical for Toni Morrison, and the characters were all so developed and evocative. I feel like all of Toni Morrison's books center around women, or like hero and champion women, or feature women who call out the male protagonist for being lazy fools all the time. Like there's a really great relationship between Milkman, who's the main character of Song of Solomon, and his sister, where she just like lays into him. This book had so much to do about like language, naming, like heritage, your heritage connection through your name, and why things are named the way they are, and especially in Black lineage in America, like that connection to slavery and slave owners and trying to find history when it's been taken or erased from you. So really hard for me to summarize the plot of Song of Solomon. You're essentially like following a man named Milkman and his family as he grows up and tries to find out who he is and who he belongs to, but it goes off the fucking rails. So I really liked this book. I keep thinking about it. It referenced a lot of biblical imagery, a lot of books of the Bible, so like might be helpful if you have any history or reference to those kind of texts to help you be a more astute reader. But one of the most challenging books I've read in a long time. What else did I read? I read almost all of Disability Visibility, which is a collection of like stories and essays by Alice Wong. It was a disability readathon in April, and that was the book I chose for that. My library hold ran out before I finished reading it, but I really enjoyed everything I did read. Like really effective writing and always a great perspective to learn from. There's so much ingrained ableism in everything, and it really is such an important barrier and line of like equitable access to make sure that you're incorporating into whatever political praxis you have, right? So I really enjoyed reading that. Then I read Pew by Catherine Lacey. I liked Pew. I did like Pew. Pew is a story about a unnamed narrator who is found in a church pew. So the small town that finds him starts well, I say him, I don't think they're ever gendered throughout this book. The small town who finds them assigns them the name of Pew. And I really like Catherine Lacey as a writer. I read The Answers last month and I was like totally enchanted by it. There were some problems in that book that didn't make it like a 4 or 5 star read for me, but I still think she's a really interesting perspective and someone I'm gonna read in the future. So Pew is weird, definitely like a weird fever dream novel. I loved the overtones of like scary religion. There was definitely like a build and a tension happening in this book, even from the way it was structured. It was structured, the chapters were named the day of the week, and it was all leading up to this festival where it was essentially like a religious festival where people were like screaming their sins together to like release them and be absolved from them, right? And I just thought like the tension between Pew's voluntary muteness and the huge festival of this town that was like pretty chaste in their politics and beliefs, like pretty weird right-wing, like small town, you can imagine, like straight-laced, you know, scary white people, honestly. And yeah, like I think it was just commenting on like political niceties in a really interesting way. Like there was a character in the book who foster family was white and he was black, and just like a lot of the character interactions of them trying to like place people and figuring people out and trying to be like welcoming in their like small humble hometown, but actually being like super, actually just like the book was like insane microaggressions the entire time, both towards Pew and other characters who didn't fit into like whatever assigned binary that this town wanted them to fit into, and Pew's refusal to even speak and participate to place themselves in context that they would be understood in, I thought was interesting. Really weird book. I really like Catherine Lacey though. Confusing. I think Moshfeghian, honestly. And I know Jalen's gonna hate that because he didn't like Pew at all and he's Otessa's #1 fan, but it is what it is. Okay, I also read 2 kind of speculative, weird, near future sci-fi vibe books, right? Okay, let's talk about the first one called A Touch of Jen. I was really looking forward to this book. The publisher sent it to me, which was super kind of them. And I did like it, okay? It was a romp. It was a romp. This book is actually blurbed to be Moshfeghian, but I think that's a stretch. I think it's more Halle Butler-esque. Yes, it's like a removed character who is kind of despicable, but Moshfeghian's a little too far of an accolade in my opinion. Maybe more Mona Awad, you know? Let's give Beth Morgan that. So in A Touch of Jen, we follow essentially the story of a couple and their obsession with lurking this girl online named Jen. And the boyfriend in this couple used to work with Jen and is like work acquaintances with her, but they've like fallen out and haven't spoken in a while. And him and his current girlfriend have developed, hello? Him and his current girlfriend have developed really unhealthy, gross, like sexual involved fantasies about Jen, like hyper fixated on this woman who is like low-key a social media influencer and just like very online. So I love reading about the internet, you know me, so that wasn't a draw. And it escalates. It gets really out of hand. You know, like how Bunny by Mona Awad got like kind of horror, magical realism, fantasy stuff? Same things happen with A Touch of Jen. And it was fun. It was fun to read. I was like entranced. I like stayed up late to read it one night. There's a monster involved. There's like a metaphor for like killing things that suck and absorb your power, your inner power and your light, and letting them manifest and get outside of you. There's a murder, there's a death, there's so many despicable characters, and like a fun rompy read. I think this was interesting. It was doing a lot of things at the same time, and I would recommend it to people if you liked a bunny vibe. That's the most akin reading experience I've had to this, but again, I don't really dip into like horror, magical realism quite as often as I have in the past, so take that with a grain of salt. Then I read Topeka School by Ben Lerner. This had been on my TBR for a really long time, and I think I saw Lauren Euler talk about it, and I was like, well, I'm obsessed with Lauren Euler. Fake Accounts is like a phenomenal book. I need to prioritize this on my reading. So I got to that this month, and I really liked it. I completely understand why people don't, though. This was a book that was entirely centered on exploration of like the decline and fall of white masculinity in America. It's fiction, it's autofiction, but yeah, that sounds like the worst thing as a blurb, and I would never want to read that, but it was actually like a really intimate, character driven, like slow burn, internal character study of this family living in the Midwest, and how this idea of like toxic masculinity birthed in the early 90s and had effects even in this kind of like upper crust intellectual community that they lived in. Like the parents that are focused on in this book are both academics, like one's a super acclaimed feminist writer, and I just really liked the intricacies of reading about how they parented from that more, for lack of a better word, like woke lens, and still were affected by the patriarchy, basically. Had great writing too. I think Ben Lerner is a poet, and gorgeous writing. The weirdest book I read probably was Future Feeling by Joss Lake. So this is like a near future sci-fi dystopian, also rooted in the plot about internet obsessions. It's a story about 3 trans men. The writer is a trans man as well, for what that's worth, and they're on a journey of self-discovery and at different parts of their transition, and kind of explores how they're making community both on and offline, and the damages and blessings it gives them, right? Let's say that. I mean, it uses like high tech, like future tech hologram stuff in it. There's this made up committee called the Rhizome, which I think is like a nature mushroom reference, right? I need to Google that, about like trans elders basically who are assigned to you once you start transitioning to kind of be like your guides and to look after you, and you can like call upon them using your tech if you ever get lost. And I don't know, it was cool. It was doing a lot of things, also like A Touch of Jen was, but I liked it. It was a fun, rompy read. What else can I say about it? I don't know, I think it was just like an interesting meditation on queer adulthood and having access to knowledge and opportunities and community that you can share with people who are earlier on in their transition, and what that's like for them. Kind of reminds me of an interview I read with Tori Peters about like mothering trans daughters and that kind of communal wisdom that's passed down from like older people in the queer community to younger people in the queer community, and what a lifeline and like special thing that is. Weird, involves a hex, involves a witch, involves a character named Stoner roommate. I liked it though. It was kind of plotty and long and definitely not my usual thing, but like my Brainy has been no worky, so you know, that's what I'm gravitating towards. I think that's it. I think that's all I want to talk about. I read Open Water, it was good. I read Outline by Rachel Cusk. It was good, but not as good as second place, Retweet, Tatted on Me. That is my opinion. And now I'm just chilling. It's like mid-May. It's like 85 degrees today in Portland. It's freaking hot, y'all. It is hot. What am I reading right now? I mean, ruining it for the May wrap-up, right? I'm reading David Sedaris' Stuff by Finding. Big chunky boy. It's just his diaries, and I'm obsessed. I love him. I actually bought tickets for me and Kiki to go see a talk of his in November, sometime in the fall of 2021, which would be awesome. I've always wanted to go to one of those, and the tickets are expensive, but I bit the bullet, and I did it. I'm also reading this Whereabouts book. Jalen, again, my angel from Burn the Bookcase, sent me a fat stack of ARCs he got because he was sent finished copies from the publisher as well. So I have like all of these awesome ARCs of books that I can read added to my TBR. What else can I tell you that's bookish? So why do people like doing that? So I let you in last week in my last vlog about my new TikTok account, right? And like, not to brag, but I think I went viral. Like, not literally. I gained like 1,000 followers in a week, you guys, and I have like a lot of views on my videos. I think it's just like a fun kind of nonsense hobby to have, and makes me feel like a sweet 16-ager. No offense if like you take Booktok more seriously than that, but I don't. I'm just like, here's my cute house and here's 5 books that you should read based on a theme. And it's working out. The teens are loving it. I'm assuming they're teens. They might also be like 28-year-olds like me. But I mean, one video I have has 40,000 views. Another one has 32. Another one has 18,000. Like, what? Is this secretly easy to monetize? Let me know if you're popping on TikTok. A lot of publishers, I feel like a lot of the publishers that I'm interested in don't have like follower account minimums, but Penguin Random House does. And I'm like, all right, Penguin, I'm gonna get to 5K on TikTok just so I can get some ARCs from you. I don't know, it's interesting. TikTok, literary TikTok space, I think is something to watch if you are a content creator in the book community. I think, you know, using my like marketing advertising brain, that's literally where people are spending their time now. Short digestible videos, which is not the vibe of YouTube. Also the YouTube, what is it called? The YouTube competitor to TikTok, Shorts, that just got rolled out on my app. Very interesting, you know, that snappy content is what the youths are wanting. And I think it is good to like balance that. Like, your reptilian brain will want some snappiness, and then YouTube, you know, your YouTube digestible brain will want something too. Cool. Well, I hope this was good. Love you. And I hope you're having a good month. I feel like I'm turning the corner on my depressioso, so that's great. And let me know what kind of videos I should film, because I'm kind of like zapped, you know? I'll try not to be this late with my wrap up next month. Okay, love you, bye!